This is Chelsea Schaefer, and this is Season 4 of The Score. You all have listened to this podcast 750,000 times, and we are here in Season 4 to bring you even more of what you love.
Today's episode of The Score is brought to you by Fastback Ropes, and we are fortunate enough to have a Fastback endorsee and female Bethanie Shofner on The Score. Bethanie is an active team roper and breakaway roper. She's currently competing in the WPRA, PRCA Pro Rodeo, and when she's not on the rodeo trail, she's picking up a head rope and competing at World Series of Team Ropings. She is a great roper in her own right. She's won so many World Series qualifiers. She's recently just won a few Pro Rodeos. She's very quick with the rope. She also tied the College National Finals arena record just this year in 2021 with a 1.6 second run. Bethanie is a great horse trainer. She's trained a few breakaway ropers that have gone on to be very successful for other people, and rides great horses herself. She is always mounted. On this episode, she talks all about that. She talks about her hauling partners, her mental aspect, what it's been like being on the Pro Rodeo road, because that is fairly new for breakaway ropers, and so much more. And don't forget, this episode is brought to you by Fastback Ropes. We'll tell you more about Fastback at the commercial. Well, hey, Bethanie, how's it going?
Oh, it's good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I hear you are in Big Timber, Montana right now. What's
ma'am.
happening there?
Oh, we're up tonight in the Perth and over here, so we're been hanging out, waiting to rope one tonight.
Gotcha. So, and obviously you're on the trail in the breakaway roping, the Pro Rodeo Breakaway Roping. How has that been for you? Is it a complete game changer for you as a roper? Or, tell me how it's been on the road.
It's been a lot of fun. I go a lot with my sister Abby Shofner and Aaron Johnson, and I couldn't really ask for anyone better to go with. We all, push each other and get along and stuff. So it's for sure a game changer just being out here and driving as far as we drive to run one and stuff. Mentally, I think it's important for all of us, to stay focused and whatnot. Yeah.
And you mentioned you're traveling obviously with your sister, but you're traveling with the world champion, Aaron Johnson. Tell me about that. Kind of, she's been there and done that in her career. What's it like rodeoing with Aaron, and, how does she kind of help you? Are there any tips or tricks she kind of tells you?
Yeah, I don't really think I could do it without her. I don't think experience things like the hard way, like some, she kind of is there and helps me with, the entering and how I need to enter and where I need to go and that sort of thing. And mentally, it's easy for, her to be there and have the confidence, which sometimes gets low, when things aren't going good, and she's there to push and tell me it's to, keep going, and it'll work out. So,
yeah, definitely. Well, I want to take a step back, and just kind of just so our listeners and everyone know who Bethanie is. How did you get into roping? I know you're a great team roper and a breakaway roper in your own right. Growing up, where'd you get started? Have you always roped? Was it in your family? Tell me a little bit about your background.
So I haven't always roped. My parents, we junior rodeoed and things like that, ran barrels as little girls, me and my sister both. And then I wanted to start roping around 13. I had called Eddie Nieto and asked him, because he would give lessons, in my hometown, and I called him and wanted to start roping, and I started team roping, my sister and I, and after that, a couple of years went by team roping, and then I kind of got into the breakaway when I was 16 or 17. Glenn Ezell was one of the first people to start that. I didn't have my own setup at my parents' house, so my sister and I were driving, you know, however much roping we could get in, we were headed that way. But Glen Ezel is what started the calf roping, and then it just kind of took off from there. We junior rodeoed, and I didn't rodeo junior high, just like the smaller ones, and then high school come around, and I started, you know, entering the team roping and the breakaway in high school, and then it kind of took off. Really, when I started college rodeoing is when I felt like my roping kind of excelled and took off there. But
Gotcha. And are you still in college now?
I am. I have 1 year left in my master's program, and then I am done with college.
Gotcha. So where are you going to college? And what are you getting your degree in?
Right. I am going to New Mexico State in Las Curces, New Mexico, and I am getting my master's in ag economics.
Gotcha. So, and I know it's, you know, we've had people in the team roping industry kind of, you know, they majority go to high school and then don't necessarily want to go to college and get a degree. They just want to rodeo. And there's a few girls I know that have kind of gone that path as well. You know, your sites, how important is it to get a degree going in, and especially being a pro rodeo athlete?
Education was always important in my family. My mom's a pharmacist and my dad's an engineer, and I didn't really feel like college was an option for my family, you know, but I feel like, especially today, it's important because, I mean, you can go a lot of ways with certain things, especially the degree I'm in. There's a lot of options to go to, you know, if you need to, and I don't feel, you know, it's like today, you won't really get stuck somewhere that you know. So I feel like education's important, and it's not, I mean, it's possible to college rodeo, pro rodeo, and be in school. I know that there's a lot of younger people out there that don't feel like they can do, you know, all three, but it can be done. Priorities are important, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think it's good. I mean, obviously I've gotten my 4-year degree, and I think it's something that people, you know, once rodeo's done, if you can't compete anymore, you know, you at least have something to fall back on once you're done.
Right. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to take a step into your team roping life, and you've been such a phenomenal roper. I know you've won so many World Series qualifiers. Tell me about that, kind of excelling in the heading.
I've always liked heading more than really, like, it's my favorite, and I feel like that's where I'm most comfortable, I guess you could say, is my heading. And I get to rope a lot at the All Girls with my sister Abby, and it's pretty hard to beat, you know, getting to head for girls like her and those girls that heel real good. I mean, it's a fun event to be able to go and compete with those girls and not always against them, you know what I mean? But my head, and it's slowed down a lot this year just because the breakaway's gotten so big, and the only horse I have now is my little yellow horse Dulce, and he's really good to head on too. But with all the breakaway going on right now on him, I haven't been heading near as much as I like or have before.
Gotcha. So what and I know obviously you're breakawaying on Dulce. What do you like in a head horse?
Size, I think, really. There's a lot of little horses that have the ability to be, you know, big time head horses, but I think it really takes a toll on them when they're not quite big enough to take that many runs back to back. And just their mind, I think it's important in the team open because there's so many different setups, you know, where we go to a World Series and it's not and ride versus, you know, you go somewhere for the men like the BFI where it's a big score, and being able to have a horse that can kind of do all of it is hard to find, I think, but it's in their mind. And a lot of the times I've learned, I guess that, when a horse has the right mind, it's pretty hard to beat when they're willing to do that much.
Yeah, exactly. And also, speaking of the heading, I know, like you said, you haven't really been team roping as much right now, but what is, when you were going pretty hard, what is something you constantly were working on, and were you excelling at the competitive level with what you were working on in the practice pen?
I'm going to have to say that my riding, the last year is really what I was focused on. I had a bad habit of letting a head horse duck every now and then, and I was really focused on trying to, give my partners the best opportunities they could have too by handling every single one, just right. And doing that, I think I needed to work on my riding and being able to push one up when I needed to, and rope at the same time for me was difficult to, focus on making a good run, but also being correct and riding. My horse right was something I for sure had to work on the last year pretty hard.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean that goes into the breakaway as well. I mean, you have to be riding your horse right to make sure they don't cheat you or anything. So that's definitely crucial in all events.
Yes, ma'am. I agree.
Yeah, and speaking of that crossover into the breakaway, what like I said, you're great. I know you at the college finals you tied the arena record this year with a 1.6. You were recently just a 1.6 at a pro rodeo. Kind of, how do you do it? What's the secret?
Well, I don't really think there's a big secret. It's kind of your body. We train for that kind of stuff in the practice pen, so it's no different. Our bodies are trained to do what we're preparing ourselves to do. And when you go in the breakaway box, it's kind of just, it's all muscle memory, I would say. But
Gotcha. And so speaking of that yellow horse as well, in the breakaway, what do you like with that horse in the breakaway so well?
His mind. He's probably one of the best-minded horses I've really ever been on. I could take him to a World Series and head 20 steers and come back and run one in Cheyenne, and he'll sit there and, and that's why, that's why I said earlier that I thought it was so important, their mind, just because you don't have to worry so much. He doesn't get hot. He's real laid back. And if I feel like I can focus more on myself and my job and not worry so much about him and how I need to ride him in the box or how I'm going to get the right start or anything like that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely crucial. And I've noticed, you've trained a lot of really good breakaway horses. I know that Paint, Steak Sauce that you rode.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you trained Beasley, who Hope Thompson bought, and then she just sold to, I believe, Taylor Munsell, if I'm not...
I believe Whitney Thurman, right?
Whitney Thurman, that's who it was.
Yes, ma'am.
What goes into the training process and having such success with it?
Patience and just kind of getting a feel and not rushing anything, any of those horses into anything. It took me a while before I felt confident to hold that paint horse that we called Steak Sauce. I feel like a lot of people now, they start them and they feel like they're ready and they take them too soon. And I almost feel like that can ruin one just as fast as, you started one. And having a good horse to start with, is always, it makes it a lot easier. And I was blessed with Steak Sauce and Beasley. They wanted to be naturally just good in the breakaway for sure. So I don't know if I could take credit for those two. They wanted to be, and there's a lot of horses out there that do want to be that good.
Yeah, no, exactly. Based out of Granbury, Texas, Fastback Ropes recently released their new rope, the Cure, which is a nylon 4-strand with purple polycore construction. It's small, light, and performs well in all weather conditions. For every cure sold, $1 will be donated to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Also, on this episode, Bethanie Shofner tells you all about her favorite ropes. The Ultimate 4 is a small and snappy nylon and poly blend. Headers love the smooth and quick feel of this rope. The Excalibur is a nylon poly blend with core construction. This bestseller is medium in diameter and weight. Bethanie is an active breakaway roper, so she swings the Athena, which is a 4-strand breakaway rope with purple dyed poly core. This tough and durable rope stands up in all conditions and gives a snappy finish and close. If you're interested in ordering a set of Fastback head, heel, or breakaway ropes, get online at fastbackropes.com and order yours today. In the going in the pro rodeos for the breakaway roping, what is something that you're working on, or something that you have to keep reminding yourself to keep entering and keep going? I know it's you can't win them all, unfortunately. Sometimes you can, but
my traveling partners are huge on that.
Mm-hmm.
We all kind of push each other when it's a little bit hard to enter the next one when entry's open. And just knowing that we all three get to go to these rodeos and have this opportunity is something that, has never really happened before. And just the fact that we're all able to start. I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't able to come out here and be in Montana, and drive this far. So I telling myself that, I'm able to be out here and do what I can is, I think, something that motivates me the most.
Gotcha. And what do you do? It's hard. You guys don't really get to practice a whole lot being out on the road. And I feel like that's a complete game changer. What are you doing to stay sharp with your roping?
Well, we rope the dummy quite a bit. That's obvious. I mean, something we can work on while everybody's on the road is just roping the dummy. But just believing that you can be, even when you're down and don't feel like you have gotten to practice and be sharp, just believing that you can and you can do it is a big part of it. And so I would say, be mental and not letting yourself get down about your roping and not worrying about not getting to practice or not fixing something before the next one, and just kind of believing that you can do it without, practicing and such.
Definitely. And what is something in the breakaway? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but what's something directly in the breakaway with your roping that you are focusing on, every run?
My start. I know, in the breakaway for sure, your start sets everything up. I mean, if you're a little bit late, it costs you quite a bit. And how fast the breakaway gets these days, it's hard to break it or be off of it at all. So, I've really been trying to really just focus on my start, because I feel like if I can get a good start and get up and everything is I guess you could say timed right, I feel it's just set up better from there, and you have a better chance of getting your job done.
Yeah. No, obviously the start is very crucial in the breakaway. It completely sets up your whole run. So, and, I know obviously you said Aaron Johnson's a big support system in your life for roping and everything. Are there any other, professionals out there that you kind of watch their styles or kind of talk to and get some tips or help from?
I try and really watch everybody. I think somebody can learn a lot from watching several people, and getting to watch Jackie and Larry D and Hope and Kelsey and those girls. It pushes you too, because they hardly ever make mistakes, and getting to watch them too, and getting to travel with somebody like Aaron, I feel like I learned quite a bit just from watching that many, good girl ropers.
Definitely. And, right now you're 35th in the standings. How are you feeling with that, and where, what are you going to do moving forward, entering for the rest of the season?
I wasn't super motivated, to be honest, before Lewistown. And after Lewistown, it kind of bumped me a little bit of a ways. And we and Erin had a talk, and she said, Bethany, if you just keep pushing and keep trying and, doing your job, you're going to place and you're going to win more like Lewistown that pays, pretty decent. And you're not that far. Right now, before Cheyenne kicks in, obviously, I'm not too far behind from 15th. And if I can just keep pushing and just try is really all I can do. And just hope, that I can do my job at where's left. So,
yeah, no, definitely. That's not the most ideal spot, but you still have a good chance with how many rodeos are left. So yeah, exactly. As long as you just keep pushing, you definitely can give yourself a huge chance right there.
Right, and that's all I can do is just do, do what I can.
Yeah, no, exactly. And being out on the road is so different. What do you guys do as a group? Like, how's the driving? Are you seeing all the new sights? What do you guys do on your downtime?
We're kind of a pretty fun rig to be with. Abby, my sister, and Erin, we kind of all are pretty relaxed, and we like to go, and if we have time, see some sights or go, hiking maybe, or see a couple things, or Erin's a big shopper, so we go shopping quite often if we have the time. But on the drives, really, we all kind of just hang out, really, listen to some good stuff, and build a friendship, really.
So who drives the most?
I don't know. They're probably going to get mad if I say me. So I'm going to have to say Abby or Erin. It's really hard, though. We all try to be pretty fair and even it out pretty close. But.
Yeah. Has there been any, funny moments or scary moments on the road? I love hearing those stories because I feel like there's quite a few.
Yes. There's been probably more funny ones than there has real scary. Our trailer did sink in the ground today, though. The jack sunk all the way through the ground, so that was exciting. We've gone through 2 trucks. One was leaking oil, so we left it at home and picked up another one, and it's leaking coolant. But I think that's just part of it. I don't know. There's a lot of stories to tell, but...
Yeah, no, I know. Which it's funny, I feel like there's been a lot of truck issues this summer that I've heard of.
Right. I agree. There has been a couple of truck issues.
I don't know what's going on, and that's very unfortunate because that's obviously how everyone's going to get everywhere. Trailers don't just drive themselves.
No, they don't.
Oh my God.
These trucks just aren't made like they used to, I guess.
Yeah, I know. You got to go get an old, 2009 or something.
I know.
What has been your favorite rodeo so far?
Oh, that's a tough one. There's a lot of really, really good ones. It's hard to beat Cheyenne just because it was just happened, and the feeling of us breakaway ropers getting to compete at that rodeo with equal money was something that, that was new for a lot of us, and just the people, the fans, and the whole committee, just the way they care and they want it to be that good. And so it's, I don't know.
And I know there's a lot more left. What's the rodeo you're looking forward to the most?
That's a good question.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones left.
There is a lot. I'm kind of one to get in the ring and kind of just be excited about all of them.
Yeah.
But
that's not bad. I feel like, at least you're getting out there, you're getting to go do what you love. So that's a good way to look at it.
And a lot of these rodeos too, I've never been to, so I'm just pumped to get to go.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and I want to talk about it too. I know, like, jackpots. I feel like the breakaway roping jackpots, and I could be wrong, I feel like they're kind of not as big as they used to be because
Right.
women are out on the road.
There's dang sure not as many. I think a lot of producers are seeing how much everybody's gone, and there's really not enough time in between everything to get a big turnout, So I feel like they're not quite as big. And there's not really a lot of people having as many either.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about that because I've noticed that. I mean, I don't think I've been to a breakaway jackpot in a very long time. And I don't even rodeo as much as all of you guys. So, it's crazy because a couple years ago that was the big thing. Everyone was going to all the the Rafter L jackpots and the 3-star, which the 3-star is still huge, and all those big ropings, and now everyone's out on the road, so it's totally different.
It is totally different. There's a lot of girls that I think, especially this year, that are rodeoing over jackpots and will skip a jackpot, to get to rodeo and to go to as many as they can, especially getting now close to the end. There's going to be a lot of girls that are going to try to go to for sure as many as they can,
Yeah, definitely. So do you like the rodeo run better than the 3 or 4 header?
No, I'm more a jackpotter because especially in the breakaway, it's hard to make any sort of, like I said earlier, to make any sort of mistake and maybe be off the barrier at a rodeo and still win anything. Where I feel like at a jackpot, it's not it's still extremely tough with the girls these days, but I feel you can kind of make up for some time and try to still win a little bit. Where at a rodeo, if you're dang sure not near perfect, it's hard.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and speaking of 3-star, I just remembered you also are a champion of the 3-star previously. So that
yes,
you are a very solid jackpot roper, as well as a one-header. It's funny how little things just pop up randomly and you remember them.
Right.
Yep, got it. And, we got to talk about it because this podcast is brought to you by Fastback Ropes, which you are sponsored by them. Let's kind of break down what's your favorite head rope from Fastback?
It depends on where I'm at and kind of, I don't know. The Ultimate 4 extra soft is pretty hard to beat. But the Excalibur Extra Soft 2 is also one of my favorites. It depends. Like on a hotter day, I'll use the Excalibur. And if it's a little bit chilly outside, I'll use the Ultimate 4. But they both are really, really good ropes. So it's hard to.
Gotcha. Like, how do you, what do they feel like? How's the body of them?
To me, I feel like the Ultimate 4 is just a little bit lighter. And it's has a little more of a snap, I guess you could say, to it. Where the Excalibur is a lot like smoother. It's not as quick maybe, and has a little bit more of a feel, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
But it's hard. They both do feel pretty good. So
definitely. And what about the breakaway rope? What are you liking right now?
I'm using their Athena. They're size 10 and extra soft. I switched to those just because I felt like I could feel, the weight in my pinky and my tip, and I felt like I could control it a little bit better than maybe a softer edge, just because the core I thought maybe had something to do with that, and I'm one to swing a little bit heavier of a rope, and those you don't have to have one too stiff to kind of get that heavier type of a feel.
Yeah, so it's obviously not as stiff as a head rope, but it's still limber enough to where you can control it and it's not heavy in your hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What would you, what size or lay would you recommend for like women coming into the sport or little girls and they're not sure which rope or which size to get?
I started, when I was little with a 4-strand, just like a 9.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get a feel of swinging a rope and building your arm muscles and stuff. It's hard to go straight to, a 10-2 or 10-5 or even a 10 for a lot of people. It's hard because that arm muscle is not built up and, they don't have the strength for that. So really starting at a 9 for, beginners or little girls would be a good starting spot.
Yeah, no, that's great. I know we get a lot of people, messaging and asking, what rope should we start with? They're all new into the sport. And so it's good to get insights from girls that have been doing it for a long time.
Right.
So that'll be good. And you talked about building muscle. Do you do any sort of workout or anything to help keep that strength or keep you strong?
I used to play a lot of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Through high school, I played basketball, and then in college, I used to work out quite a bit my freshman and sophomore year, and then I kind of just got to where I roped so much, I hardly didn't go, to a gym or anything, but I do feel like roping a dummy and trying to be real accurate on a dummy helps build, or strengthen or just maintain those muscles that are needed, but I do think that it is important to have some strength in your arm to get your rope where you need it and that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's definitely it's definitely muscle memory as well in the sport.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So for little girls or women or even men coming up into the team roping and the breakaway roping, what is a piece of advice that you could give them?
Just if you feel like you can, and some things are hard to believe that you can, but if you work hard enough and want it bad enough, it's possible. And it's dreams for little girls may seem hard to get to and stuff, but it's not impossible.
Definitely that's awesome. I love that a lot. Yeah, definitely if you want it bad enough, get your butt out there and do it.
It'll be there for sure. If you want it bad enough, it can happen.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, Bethanie, I so appreciate you being on this episode with me. Thank you for taking the time to answer the phone.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Bethanie, for taking the time to chat with me. I hope you guys got your trailer unstuck from the mud in Montana. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your pro rodeo season and win lots of money. Thank you for taking the time to chat and tell everyone about the Fastback ropes you love. Don't forget, you guys, this episode is brought to you by Fastback Ropes. You can check out their ropes at fastbackropes.com. And don't forget, leave us a rating and review. We do look at those, and we love to see what you guys love, what you guys want more of, who you guys want on the score. We're trying to dip into all aspects of team roping and now breakaway roping. So let us know.